With the first pick in the 2023 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Victor Wembanyama from Nanterre, France.
Puma hanging on my neck, the bracelet matches a set. My brother name is Tina Dollar, stop all that back and forth over the net. My mama wish I would've went corporate, she wish I would've went exec. I still turn to a CEO, so the lifestyle she respect. Hey, 2 sprinters to Quebec, Cherie, où est mon bec? They only giving niggas +1, so I never pull up to the Met. You know I gotta bring the set, you know I gotta bring the G-block, you know I gotta bring the D-block, cause you know how sticky it get, hey. 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 She want me to play with that cat, hey. She love how I make it on wet.
Even before the moment Victor Wembanyama was drafted first overall to the San Antonio Spurs in the 2023 NBA Draft, he was destined to be a star in the NBA. Born on the 4th of January in 2004 in Le Chesnay, France, Victor was raised by 2 parents who already had a deep-rooted background in athletics. His father, Felix Wembanyama, who was a Congolese track and field star in his day, who competed in the long jump, the high jump, and the triple jump, already possessed the genes that would help give his son Victor an edge later in life. And his mother, being a 6'3" basketball coach and former basketball player, added to this edge as well. So with his father's 6'6" frame and his mother's skill at basketball being both a player and a coach, the potential pathway for Victor to one day become an NBA player was already laid out. And it wasn't just his mother and father, but both of Victor's grandparents had played professional basketball as well. So it was almost destined and set in stone that one day this young man would enter the sport as well. Victor began playing organized basketball at age 7, and by age 10 he was already getting looks from the local youth league coaches. And I mean, let's be honest, being 6 feet tall at age 10 would catch just about anybody's attention. The story goes that one of the youth league coaches actually mistook Victor for being a coach himself after he saw him sitting on the end of a bench during a game one day. In 2018, Victor was loaned to FC Barcelona for an under-14 tournament in Spain in which he led his team to 3rd place. But after the tournament, he declined an offer to continue his career with Barcelona, citing that the coaches were just not pushing and challenging him enough for his liking. In October of 2019, Victor made his professional debut at just 15 years of age, which made him the 2nd youngest player in history to ever play in the Euro Cup. And in 2020, he played for an 18 and under team in the Adidas Next Generation tournament, where on February the 8th of that same year, he had his first huge game as a professional, where he led his team to a win against their opponent, posting 22 points, 15 rebounds, and an outstanding AGNT record of 9 blocks. During his time at the Adidas Next Generation tournament, Wembanyama averaged 16 points, 12 rebounds, 3 steals, and a league-leading 6 blocks per game, which helped earn him all-tournament team honors. After this showing out, Victor was on the radar of almost every coach and scout in the EuroLeague. And then in July of 2022, he signed a 2-year contract with the Metropolitans 92 of the NLB Pro A, or Mets 92 as they're also known as. It is here where Wembanyama really began to grow into his own and start to gain recognition from the American media for his outstanding performances on the basketball court. In October of 2022, Victor made his U.S. debut in 2 nationally televised games against the G League Ignite. Both of these games were attended by over 200 NBA scouts and executives who came to see the display that Victor put on. And despite losing to the Ignite 122-115 in the first outing, Wemby was still able to impress, posting 37 points, 5 blocks, and 4 rebounds. But in the next game, he got his revenge against the Ignite as he led his team to a 112-106 win while posting 36 points and grabbing 11 rebounds on the night. He also had an absolutely impressive monster block against Scoot Henderson who eventually would become the 3rd overall pick in the same draft as him. This was definitely the turning point for Victor, because if you didn't know his name before, you definitely knew it now, and he had put the NBA world on notice after these 2 amazing performances in Las Vegas against the Ignite. And on October 27th of 2022, just a few weeks after his battle with Scoot Henderson in the desert, the NBA announced that it would stream all of the 92 regular season games the Metropolitans had, including their playoff games, on the NBA app exclusively. So at this point, the hype was real. It became pretty reminiscent of when ESPN started showing LeBron James high school games at St. Vincent St. Mary's. And by the time the 2022-23 Pro A season began, it was almost clear-cut that Wembanyama was the absolute best player in this EuroLeague. On November the 4th of 2022, Wembanyama posted a career-high 33 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks, leading his team to yet another win. It was clear that the talent was real and this kid wasn't going away anytime soon. And in April of 2023, Victor declared for the 2023 NBA Draft, where he would eventually go number 1 overall to the San Antonio Spurs. Now I know what you guys are probably thinking from the title of this video. Yeah, great story, Wembanyama, interesting rise to stardom and all, but there is no way you can compare him to the likes of the big fundamental himself, Tim Duncan, who brought 5 championships to the city of San Antonio in the 19-year storied career in which he played every single second for the San Antonio Spurs. Or Tony Parker, who Wembanyama actually grew up idolizing and looking up to, as he was probably the best French basketball player to ever grace an NBA court, who also played 18 seasons in San Antonio. Or Manu Ginobili, who played an outstanding 16 years in the NBA, again, all for the San Antonio Spurs, who once actually had the quickness and timely instinct during a game to swat a bat out of thin air. A bat! If that's not dedication to your team and fans, I don't know what is. And we know you wouldn't dare put him up against somebody like David Robinson, who not only served time for our country, but at one point in his NBA career, he put up an astounding quadruple double in a game. And in thinking that, you'd be absolutely wrong, because I most definitely am going to put him up against these 4 incredibly talented NBA greats. And this isn't to put any more pressure on the young kid than he already has, or to say that Wemby doesn't have anything to prove, or that there isn't any growth to be had. But there's just something about this dude that just makes you say, yup, that's gonna be an NBA legend one day. And it's not only his outstanding 7'4" frame, which makes him the tallest NBA player next to Boban, but it's his agility, his speed, his quickness, and his thinking. I mean, look at this nutmeg that he pulled off in a preseason game against Reggie Bullock. And also his ability to set up his teammates and pass the ball as if he's a point guard is, I think, the best we've ever seen from someone who is 7'4". At his size, he is somehow able to create space and slip by defenders with absolute ease. And I mean, wait a minute, did you guys see this play? He called for the alley-oop at the 3-point line. That is just absolutely remarkable, and I don't think we've ever seen somebody at this size do the things that Wemby can do on an NBA court. And I think another thing that sets Wemby apart from his peers and other players who have come into the league with such high expectations is his absolute competitive fervor and will to win. And just listen to him in this clip where he answered a reporter who asked a question after his first summer league game, which was against Chet Holmgren, the former number 2 pick in last year's draft, and the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Especially intense or competitive. It seemed like you were really into it from the start, whether it was flexing or going at Chet. Did you feel like it was a really competitive environment?
I think my best games are when I put energy on the court. So I just try to, I'm a rookie. What I got to do is play defense, play hard, and just give 100%. I got to be tired when I get subbed out. So I was just trying to put energy at all times. but I can still do better.
It is here where we can see how leveled and mature Wembanyama is as an NBA player, and he's only 19 years of age, which is very impressive, especially in today's era of social media and extra attention needed for certain young stars. Kinda reminds you of another #1 overall pick that went to San Antonio. Now, it's not to say that Victor will be the next Tim Duncan or will be the next David Robinson, but let's just say he has the tools, mentality, maturity, and physical capabilities to be an NBA great in this era. And another huge reason why I think Wemby is on a fast track to success is the fact that he's coming into this league being coached by the great Greg Popovich, who not only will coach him hard, but will coach him smart. Listen to this small clip of what he said about his short time with Pop so far.
Pop said he talked to you before the game this morning, and he does that with all rookie players. What was that kind of about?
You know, every time he talks to me, I know I can trust him, and he doesn't talk. I think he doesn't try to tell me too much, you know. But I told him, yeah, I can take a lot, so go ahead. You wanna I want to get as much advice as I can. And he was, you know, at first he asked me how I expected the game to be, and I told him that I wanted to play hard, play with energy, and the rest is gonna come naturally. And he said, like he agreed with me. He said, yes, you already know, do your thing.
How did you envision he would coach you? Because he seems like he's just sort of letting you go and giving hands off. How did you think he would do that?
You know, I think he knows. You know, what I've noticed is I feel like the role of a coach, a big part is to know when to give the freedom to the players. This is what I see, for example, during the timeouts. I know it's only preseason, but like we got great creators and great players on that team, and I see Pop. He only tells them the right amount of advice and stuff, and he lets them be creative. And I think it's a big part of the coach of the job in the NBA from what I've seen.
You heard it yourself. Pop is not only willing to let Victor play the way he's comfortable playing, but he knows when to manage him, when to discipline him, and when to tell him things that will help better his game in the long run. Being drafted #1 in the NBA can be a heavy burden for any human being, but it is those who show the fortitude in the fight to become an NBA legend who end up getting remembered amongst the greatest we've ever seen. And it is my belief that Victor Wembanyama is one of these few rare players we see every 2 decades or so. And it'll be interesting to watch and see if he can live up to the expectations and fill the shoes of those such as Tim Duncan and David Robinson and all the other great San Antonio Spurs players who have brought championships, competitiveness, and a lasting legacy in which the San Antonio faithful fans can be proud of for decades and decades to come. And as for Victor Wembanyama and his story, well, that's just begun, and I can't wait to see what's on the horizon for this young up-and-coming NBA star. And I look forward to following and covering his journey for years to come. And as for now, welcome to the NBA, Victor.